So last night we saw you pull out your shot in the dark, so you kind of saw this one coming, huh?
Tiff tried to do some magic, and I spent all day looking for a hidden immunity idol. But when I didn't find one, and I could tell that people weren't getting on board with the Tiff plan, it was just, this is my chance, shot in the dark. And I felt so lucky up to that point in the game. I was like, there's probably a good chance this hits.
Yeah, you certainly were riding high this game. But I do want to ask you, you're Rick Devens. I know you're not going out without a fight. What didn't we see in the episode, either with the idol hunt or strategic conversations that didn't make the edit?
Well, I certainly did a lot more idol hunting than it looked like I did. I mean, I was there all day trying to find that thing, and I was just waiting for them to show me walking right past it, right, and scanning to it.
Yeah.
So I felt a little relief that shot never happened. There is one thing that I almost did. We had the flag there that Tiff painted and did an amazing job, but we had all this different paint. And I actually snuck the red paint out of camp and was going to do a fake beware advantage. Like I was going to act like I'd cover myself with paint and be like, oh, what? Act like I had an idol. But to Jonathan's credit, like he never let me out of his sight for long enough to even make that happen. And at that point, I was like, even if I do get this thing going, like it's probably not going to work. Like probably the shot in the dark is the better way to go anyway. I tried, man. I tried. I was really, when they were on their reward, Joe and Rizzo and Suri, I'm definitely egging on Jonathan and Tiff going like, didn't those two eat a lot more than you at the auction? Like, that's weird that he picked them, trying to stoke those flames. But they're just too good of players. I mean, Tiff wanted me to stay at that point, so she tried. But Aubry, as much as I was loyal to Aubry, Aubry was not loyal to me. She was loyal to herself, which she should be, and just knew that now was a good time. I mean, she watched me in the Edge of Extinction. She knows that I can find an idol or win those last couple immunities. So I think she made a good move. But we couldn't get her on board, and so it was idol or bust, and that idol never presented itself to me, which is weird because apparently producers hand me idols. So it's so weird that they wouldn't do it this time.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, I was a little confused by the Aubry of it all too, because it seemed like you guys were friendly, you played together on the Edge of Extinction, but then she would kind of like shy away from some of your flashier, showier moves. Were you on the same page? What was that relationship like out there?
I love Aubry so much right now and on the island. Coming in, I had no intention of playing with her. Like we weren't really that close from Edge of Extinction. I really respected her, but we'd spent very little time together, and all of our time was on the Edge of Extinction. But I got so close to her when we were tied together, like just competing with someone. Like I'll play a game of pickup basketball with you, Nick, and you're my best friend because we played a game together. We competed together. So I was super loyal to Aubry because I'm stupid loyal in the game. I'll vote with Emily, and then on a revote, I'll vote with Emily again. I'll never vote for Christian. But Aubry, yeah, it was interesting watching it back, like how many times she sold me out to people and went up and was tattling on me. And, and on one breath, like trying to act like some of my moves were our moves. And in the next breath being like, I can't believe Rick did that. What a dumb thing to do. So it was an interesting experience watching it. But I ultimately think that she knew the way to go that was best for her game. Like, I don't think me being there was good for her game because other people did still think that we were a little together. I think people are going, oh, she's saying she's not with Devens, but she's still kind of with Devens. She also knows I'm an insane player, like unpredictable. Even as an ally, you don't know what I'm going to do. And so I think my loyalty, it's something I like about myself, but I don't think it's a great, thing for Survivor necessarily. I think it makes the jury appreciate you. They respect that. But ultimately, like if I'm not willing to cut Christian when I need to, that's not great Survivor gameplay. And I would never cut Christian, right? Whereas I think Aubry is a more evolved player and is playing for herself and her family and knows that when she needs to cut me, she needs to cut me. So that's why I think we just couldn't get on the same page. She's too good.
Let's talk about this MrBeast coin flip, man.
Okay.
Like, whoa. So if you didn't flip that coin that night, say there wasn't a twist, do you think you were the one that was going to be voted out?
I, to this day, am not sure. That's what some people want to sell you now. But I think there's so much revisionist history in Survivor. I really felt like I'd done enough to put the target on Steph. To me, you're always trying to put yourself in the other shoes of the people you're playing with. I just felt it was much better for Cirie, Tiff, Rizzo, Emily, and Aubry to keep me than to keep one of those three. And they knew I'm a heat-seeking missile for Joe and Jonathan and Steph at this point, especially after I throw them under the bus. I mean, that makes me a big target, a big shield for you, and I'm going after them. And probably they're going to be going after me. So it made no sense to me that they would at that point get rid of me and keep Steph, who had just exposed herself as lying to them and kind of was still trying to cover it up. Whereas I was very strategically open to the fact that I was willing to vote out Ozzy, open to the fact that I brought up Rizzo's name. Like, I think I showed all my cards, and that was very intentional. So I don't know. I still to this day felt in that moment that I'd put enough on Steph. But obviously I wasn't so sure of it that I wasn't all over that coin flip. I was like, because even if I'm safe tonight, I'm the target tomorrow. So I wanted that immunity idol. And I was also just, dude, I hadn't had a real immunity in my hand the whole game. I wanted it so bad.
Now you're standing up there with like Jeff and Jimmy. You're about to flip this coin that has so much riding on it. What's going through your head? How did that feel?
First of all, just stupid amount of confidence. I mean, it's a coin flip. I have no control over this. And I was just sure it was going to land. I was at peace with the fact that if I go home this way, no one else ever has. They didn't vote me out. Like, that's fine. But I was sure it was going to hit. I knew my kids would be so psyched because we're Jimmy fans. Like, we like MrBeast. I've got the receipts. It was so funny. People pull those up on Twitter and Instagram, like me talking about how much Jack and I like MrBeast. My heart was going a million miles per second. And Jimmy even reaches over and puts his hand on my heart. And I'm in that moment like, MrBeast is touching me. Like, what's going on? But then it hits. And Ozzy, who was like my biggest cheerleader during this moment, just randomly, he was just loving the whole thing. I think he was the first to be like, it hit. And I'm jumping up. And then I'm hugging MrBeast. I'm hugging Jeff. They're hugging each other, which I brought up to Jeff when the whole game was over. I was like, I remember you and MrBeast hugging. And Jeff was like, I hugged MrBeast? Like, he's like, I was really amped in the moment too. I don't even remember that. But it was just incredible. And I knew that that's going to be the moment my kids latch on to, because they are now going to be Survivor watchers. But up to that point, they hadn't watched a whole lot of Survivor, and we've watched a lot of MrBeast. So it was really awesome. And watching it back with them was really awesome.
Another one of your big moments this season was planting the fake idol at Tribal Council. Now, Christian gave you the best distraction. If you had to grade his pratfall at Tribal Council, what grade would you give Professor Hubicki there?
I'm going to get to the grade after a little bit of a preface, which is,
okay.
It's part of my plan to say, dude, you've got to be the first one to go towards the torches so that you're in front of everybody, and you've got to fall and they'll all look at you. I didn't know he was going to fall like he fell. He goes and does that. I'm reaching in and hiding the idol, and I just hear, like, the crash was crazy loud. And then I had to wait 9 or 10 months to actually see it, Nick. Like, I'm looking the other way, so I didn't see it happen. Then I did see it on TV. 10 out of 10, at least. If I can go higher, if I can turn it up to 11, bro, I'm turning it up to 11. Best alliance member anyone could ask for, and he did an amazing job. I don't think the heist could have happened without it.
Now, you ended up reaching for that fake idol at the Chrissy and Coach vote, the duos twist. Some people have told me that they thought maybe you would have been safe anyways at that vote. What do you think, had you not?
It's, again, a thing that I'm not totally sure of because of revisionist history. If I had to guess, hearing what people are saying now, I think I was probably safe. But I don't believe that 100%. And I don't regret going for the idol there anyway, because the worst thing in my mind would be we hid that idol there and I don't get to use it. Like, maybe it would be there for Christian still, but if I got sent home without ever going for it, it would haunt me, dude. And I'm not haunted by anything I've done on Survivor, including now, but that would have haunted me. And I'm sitting there going, it's a 2-for-1. I'm saving myself and I'm saving Aubry. And then the other nightmare scenario that could play out with this idol is that, next tribal, I need it and I go for it and get it. So what do? They vote out Christian. And then I'd feel awful. It's like, he helped me with this thing. This was our plan and he goes home because of it, or vice versa. He goes for it and I get sent home. So I just felt like he was safe that night with Jonathan. I was very much exposed. And in my mind, it's like, if I go for it early, I still have, quote unquote, an idol because they think I have it. So maybe this can keep me safe next week, which it ended up, I think, doing. So I don't really regret going for it then.
Rick, tell me a little bit about your early frustrations with Joe, and how difficult was he to play with?
I love Joe. We've spent a lot of time messaging each other back and forth during the season. Great dude. I need to make it clear to everyone. If you meet Joe, you're going to love your Joe experience. Like, he's a great guy. Looking back on it now, after seeing it play out and seeing us play, I think the problem is, I consider loyalty, I'm never going to go after you and I'm going to protect you. I'm going to look out for both of our interests. But I don't need to tell you all my secrets. I was super loyal to Suri and Emily, but I'm not telling them about the fake idol because they don't need to know about the fake idol, before I got it, because they don't need to know. Like, that's my secret. I can be in an alliance with you and have an idol myself, and you don't need to know that until you need to know that. Whereas I think watching Joe, he really wants you to tell him everything. Like, he was so upset that Steph didn't tell him that she had a steal of it. He wants to be totally open and honest about everything. And so it's really a shame, because I think I proved myself to be a very loyal player, and that's something that he would have appreciated if we'd been able to get back together. We hugged it out after our argument, and that argument was because of my bad gameplay. And then my frustration with him is because I just felt like he got way more upset about it than he should. Like, you can be upset, but I just thought, not that upset. Like, what's going on? And it was hard. I told him to his face, I felt like it was hard to play around his code because, if I tell you we're voting Jenna out and you say, well, we should tell her, I say, whoa, no, like, she's got a shot in the dark. So that was hard to play around. I think it must just be really hard on him to try to play a game of Survivor where you're being honest. Like, that's got to be an internal struggle the whole time, and that internal struggle becomes an external struggle with people you're trying to play with. But I was how much it was held on to. If I'd known that, I would have voted out Joe and kept Genevieve when we got split off into that tribe. Like, Aubry and Christian and I easily could have gotten rid of Joe right there. But I really thought we had buried the hatchet and that we were moving on. But I just think, and maybe he had in his mind at that point, but then, he just saw me as a devious player and just could not play with that kind of gameplay. So it never came together, obviously. But it's a shame. I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised the way it kept coming up.